Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, Access Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to be bringing you guys a take-home edition of our weekly CDL recap series, where this week, of course, I will be looking at the results from Week 6 matches. I know it's a little bit late, I'll explain in a second, from the CDL Major 2 qualifiers. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the intro as always. And yeah, I got sick on Saturday and yeah, just had one of my usual health flare-ups. So it is what it is. It's pretty much always around this time of year. Can't be helped. Just tried to recover, rest, and get back on my feet as fast as possible. But that's why I didn't post on Saturday and Sunday. I didn't start clearing out my backlog of content until about Tuesday evening. So now we're at Thursday, all caught up, and we are recording the content going into the majors. You guys can hear my voice. I'm still not all the way back to normal, but we move. Got to keep the platform platforming, you know? Excuse me. Speaking of platforming, we started things off with a correct pick for your boy. FaZe Vegas took down the Paris Gentlemen in a hot 3-2 series. Now, let's claim our G6 creds on codstats.com. Ooh, we got a lot of G6 creds. We won quite a few play cracked picks, huh? So, looking at it, let's just look at the the play cracked picks. Let's look at the G-Stake creds that we won. That'll dictate, not dictate, but tell us how things have gone recently. So we did okay last week. We did okay last week. Actually, let's just go back to the series. If you guys want the box scores, be sure to come to codstats.com. As always, it's linked down in the description of each video I post. So FaZe took down Gentlemates in the game 5. It was an absolute thriller. If you missed it, full highlights are on the channel. The hardpoints were amazing. Everything else was amazing as well. Carolina Royal Ravens took down the C9 New York side in a series that pretty much we all would expect to go their way. Vancouver Surge lost 3-0 to the Minnesota G2 side, to the surprise of absolutely no one, right? And then on Saturday, we kicked things off with the surprising Game 5 victory for the Carolina Royal Ravens over the Miami Heretics. Lurqxx was the series MVP here, 1.08 KD, 95 and 88 from the Royal Ravens upstart rookie player. So this is how the 5 went down. The game 4 was the closest map between the two. Then the 5th map went the way of the Bluebirds. But yeah, speaking of things going the way of people and not the way of the blue, you had FaZe Vegas, of course, getting a hot 3-0. CEO Draza took over another org, of course, that being C9 this time. Hostile takeover, board meeting was called, and, you know, he called sus on some people, and some people were, you know, removed from the ship. So, speaking of people who got removed from the ship, Pred was not one of them. He was the Captain Kirk. He said, beam me up. I'm frying. I'm getting out of here with the loot. We got it. We out. And the Falcons, they took this dub over OpTic Texas, handing them their first loss of the qualifiers. So this was probably the crown jewel of the weekend in terms of results, right? If we're being honest, that was really the most significant result. Pretty much everything else was fairly reasonable based on what we've seen. Even Carolina beating Miami, Game 5. Carolina's been making definitely noticeable improvements, excuse moi. And yeah, I mean, everything else went pretty much what you'd expect. LA Thieves in recent form got a 3-0 over the Minnesota G2 side. Only other notable surprise was Vancouver beating the Riyadh Falcons, but you have to remember that Vancouver was competing to make it to Birmingham, right? Because technically they were still at 3 wins at that point, and I believe they had beaten Boston, so they were clear of that, but you don't want it to go to a head-to-head tiebreaker. So, yeah. In the next series, the LA Thieves took down the Gentlemates in a Game 5 barn burner. Again, if you guys missed any of this stuff, go to the channel, check it out. Today I'm doing a much shorter recap just because I'm going through the backlog. Mentally, I am tired and I don't feel like going through box scores, especially since the week as I went through the highlights, it was such a redundant week in terms of really solidifying certain narratives, results, and just overall indicating where teams stood in the grand scheme of things. There weren't a lot of matches that were really giving us new information. A lot of them were just kind of reasserting what we already thought to be the case for some of these mid-tier teams or some of the better teams in the upper echelon. So, yeah, I mean, we had the Miami Heretics getting a 3-0 over Boston Breach, thus ending the Snoopy and Purge project. Snoopy and Purge were announced to be dropped from the Breach yesterday at time of recording on Wednesday. So, yeah, I mean, a lot and a little happened all at the same time. So, kind of an interesting week, kind of a nothing week, but just be more intent on looking for my bracket preview video, which is the next one coming out, because OpTic Texas versus Toronto Koi wasn't much to talk about. As I was catching up on the highlights, I was kind of like, wasn't really that bad of a week to get sick. I mean, the highlights were definitely nice. OpTic versus Riyadh was a nice surprise. The LA Thieves series was a nice surprise. And then Vancouver versus Riyadh was a nice surprise as well. But other than that, the COD was pretty tame this weekend. So yeah, be sure to be on the lookout for my major preview video where I go over my expectations for Major 2, give you guys a rundown of what I expect to see going into the bracket. And yeah, catch you guys there. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say. And once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News X Rotation. However, hope you know these interwebs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.